this is a big one, and I've asked a project executive that I respected a lot what the answer to this one is, but I'm going to ask you. When you think about the real objective of a project manager, going back to that loop, what is their actual mission, so that we can bring
Uh,
it home for the listeners?
okay, so the actual mission is
Yeah.
I'd go back to the book by Patrick Lencioni, Five Dysfunctions of a Team, and a quote in there that says, if you could get all of the people in an organisation rowing in the same direction, you could dominate any industry, any market, under any conditions at any time. If you could get everyone, the PM's job is to get everyone headed in the same direction. If he could do that, you'll build any project under any circumstances, ever gets thrown at you at any time. That's my opinion. In my opinion, that is his number one job.
I love that, and kudos to you for pronouncing his name right. I always get that wrong. Um,
That took a lot of practice to get that right, especially for an
yeah,
Aussie.
because
It did take a lot of practice to get that right, especially for an Aussie like me. Right, I'm just making sure that the audio is all good here because the other day I'm going to slow down a little bit, and this is a vital lesson to all of this. The Navy SEALs have a saying: "Slow is smooth, smooth is fast." Too often we dive into things that aren't really ready to go yet, and we end up with rework, which is exactly what happened to me the other day. Dived into a live stream. There is one, it's happened to me before, so I shouldn't have got caught with this, but I did again. There's one particular scene where the mic was muted. So I did 20 minutes of a live, which was all good. Hit the scene where I started to show them how to use school, and guess what? It was muted. Anyway, I digress. Let's get on to today's topic. What is a real job of a PM, and how's it evolving, especially with AI? We're going to have a look at what a PM should actually be measuring and where his time should be focused based on dollar per value, hourly dollar per value. We're going to have a look at, we're going to break a anchor here. We're anchored to linear thinking, and I'll tell you a story about LPM that I worked with years ago, and I didn't know how to explain this properly, but he used to drive me nuts with this. I wish I actually saw him in the airport in Sydney about 6-7 months ago. Wish I'd see him again now because I could explain to him now why the way he was thinking was tied to linear and it wasn't best for project. Going to look at why a system that is always busy is a highly ineffective system. Look at a little loop that you can put in place to drive all of this. And lastly, we'll wrap it up with why it actually works. All right, so the PM's job, as I said earlier, is to make sure everyone is heading in the same direction. The way that we get that embedded into their thinking to start with is to flip the org chart upside down. There you go. It might be a little better. You might see a bit more light. Old guy that I worked for years ago, old Bo McPhee, he always said to us, we were there as a support mechanism for these people at the front line. I was supervisor and superintendent for Bo. So below the work teams, you got your supers, your engineers, your estimators, and all your other materials, logistics, all those sorts of people. Their job is to support these people to get what they need to do their job. Below them, they have like purchasing, safety, contracts, stores, maintenance, all those sorts of people. Their job is to support them to get what they need. Below them, we'll have the business might be split into two divisions: projects and business as usual. Their job is to support them. Down the bottom, the CEO, the managing director, project manager, whatever it may be. Their job is to support everyone. When we flip it upside down like that, it puts a different context on it and it gives different people a different perspective on what their job is and isn't. One quote out of this box that I want you to burn into your brain before we go any further, because it's going to become vitally important later on. An hour lost at the constraint is an hour lost to the whole system. I'll explain that better as we go. I used to have this PM, and he used to drive me and my back-to-back, or I was actually the back-to-back for this other guy, drive us nuts. Come the forklift would stop for 15 minutes. How come the forklift's been parked up for 15 minutes? He'd come at the end of the shift, the boys would be stood up. They were working 10, 11-hour days. It were long days, it was hot, it was hard work. They'd leave or be packed up a few minutes early. Oh, every minute that we lose is blah, blah. I said, you're not in a manufacturing plant now, guy. I said, we're in construction. Construction is a game of opportunity. What I didn't understand at that point in time was the difference between local Optima and global Optima. That was what I knew instinctively, but I didn't know theoretically, and I couldn't actually pass that information on to him. All right, so he would look at it from the fact of 10% of an 8-hour day would be 48 minutes. And he goes, someone stands around or wastes 10% of their day, we've lost 10% production for the day from that person. Not necessarily so. I'll explain to you why. We're going to look at the difference between value-added and non-value-added activities. The first thing that we need to know is, what was the dollar value of the person doing that actually wasted 10% of those 8 hours? Now this is, I said to you, there's a couple of key skills. The project management there's a great video by Christian Bukosis the other day, and he spoke about management. The term management came about in, I think it was 1911. It's an old idea. We need to let it go. We need to get rid of it. We need to get rid of it out of projects. We need to stop calling it project management, because the project manager thinks that they sit up the top there and all those people are below them. They're not. The project manager, which we need to get rid of, it's project delivery. The person who's responsible to deliver a project, or as I like to call them, the project catalyst, when they've got the skills that I'm going to speak to here. Project delivery person, their job's to support everyone. We need to get rid of the word management in projects. It doesn't serve us, and it sets us up to fail, thinking that type of thing. The new project catalyst, I'm going to call them, they should be working on, and these are based off, Perry Marshall's got a fantastic book. It's called the 80-20 Sales Marketing. And you might be thinking to yourself, Beanie, what the hell has sales and marketing got to do with construction? And the answer is everything. If the project catalyst cannot sell this idea, and needs to be able to market this idea every day on a consistent basis for people to buy into it, if he can't sell this idea, if he can't sell it to his supervision, if he can't sell it to his stakeholders, if he can't sell it to the guys out at the front line doing the job, if he can't sell it to all these levels here that he supports, he hasn't got a hope in hell of doing what Patrick Lencioni said, which is getting all the people in the organisation rowing in the same direction. Perry split all different tasks into different dollars per hour value. So $10 an hour, $100 an hour, $1,000 an hour, and $10,000 an hour. Guess what? The task that the project manager has previously created a lot of busy work for himself or herself to sit in the office all day in the aircon. And this is not just them, this is across all levels, okay? Reporting, emails, spreadsheets. They love spreadsheets. This is one of the key reasons why I never became a project manager years before I did, is because I can't stand working in Excel. I hate it. And guess what? Those are busy work, which fits in here. $10 per hour tasks, they're administrative work, or at best, they're $100 per hour value to the project tasks. AI can do all of that now, or certainly reduce the amount of it considerably. They should be planning and prioritising their day with their team. That fits into one of the categories that Perry calls a $1,000 per hour task. They should be doing social video, like I'm doing right now, with extreme competence, which is very, very, very freaking rare. I'm not talking about making dancing videos for TikTok. I'm not talking about making memes or whatever. Nothing wrong with any of that, and we probably could do with a bit of that within the industry, people doing that, because If we can't have a bit of fun, what is the point of what we're doing anyway? Again, this social video is your number one tool to be able to market and sell what you need to put in place here to get everyone rowing in the same direction. Now, I'm going to show you a platform where you can do it as well, so you don't have to go out on social media and do this. We can contain this within the project. I'm going to show you a brilliant interface that we can use, which comes at a highly expensive price of US $9 per month. And it's going to drive all of this. It's going to tie all this together. It's a central point for all this to happen. So I need to be able to plan and prioritize with the teams. They should be doing that. They should be doing social video, marketing and selling this to the team. And the last one, which he calls a $10,000 per hour task, is establishing values and culture. Do this part right, the social videos, you'll do this at the same time. Another process called the debrief, that needs to be part of that, which runs on Orca, objective, results, cause and actions, which is in previous videos, not in this piping video. This is a piping video, right? This is video 4 of this 5 video series. So this is where the real work happens. This is the good stuff. No prizes for guessing which discipline I fit into work-wise. Establishing values and cultures, getting out to what they call, the Japanese call the gemba, which is saying the crime or the work front. Getting out there, establishing the values and the culture. I'm going to show you how we do that with this little loop just here. They should be involved in this every day. Should be doing what they call gemba walks. The last project that I was on, I had a project, I worked client side, not client side, EPC side, and then we had a client and the contractor. The 2 project directors, one from the client side and the one from our side, EPC side, and then the project manager from the contractor, every morning without fail used to walk the job, get to the gemba, see what was actually going on, go and talk to the people out of the work front doing the work. Vitally important. That should be your number one job in the morning, is to get to the gemba and see what's going on, find out what's really happening from the people doing the work. They're the 3 key skills that you need to master. Plan and prioritize social videos, got to market and sell this, and get to the gemba, actually working with the people at the work front. Right, so we're going to break our anchor to linear thinking. And this, we lose 10% of a day, we multiply that by X amount of guys, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so if I take 30 steps in that direction just there, I will be about 30 metres from where I'm standing here right at the moment. You're thinking, fuck me, that's genius, Beanie. How'd you work that out? Because I'm a boilermaker and I'm smart in that. No, I'm a project manager now as well, so I'm really super smart. If I take 30 exponential steps, which means they double every step, we go around this little blue thing here that we live on 26 times. We need to start thinking 10x. How do we get a 10x result? And you're saying, that's ridiculous. We can't get 10 times the people on site. We can't move 10 times as quick. You're right. Both of those things are damn right. What we can do, but, is lean thinking tells us that 10% of what we do every day is value-added activity. 10% by value-added activity means we're actually doing something to progress the project towards its completion. 90% of what we do is what's known as non-value-added activity. So this guy that they said stood around for, or went and messed around for 48 minutes. Out of those 48 minutes, if we looked at that from a localised perspective, we go, that's terrible. We'll look at it from a global perspective as like, what was the value of the task that he was actually doing at the time? Was he actually doing something that was adding value, or was he stuck down here and there's 90% non-value added? We might have actually got benefit out of him doing nothing for 48 minutes because it didn't cause any rework. We need to flip the thinking, be looking at how do we increase this 10%. If we want to move twice as quick, our project to move twice as quick, we don't need to double up this. because that's not any value. What we need to do is double up this. Make 10 to 20%. All of a sudden your velocity, your earned value, whatever you want to call it, is doubled. As we remove this, and these are the sorts of things that fit in the non-value added. So he might have been overproducing, making stuff work, welding up parts that weren't even required yet. So he's just gone and made a big pile of parts that we've got to go and double handle later on because he's just trying to keep busy. Double handling, rework. He might have been doing something that wasn't really ready to get done yet, didn't have the right information, didn't have the right drawings, had the wrong revision drawing. Might have been waiting. Might have been wasted motion, running backwards, forwards to the stores because he never planned his day properly. Might have been context switching, might have been moving between three different jobs because he's got ADHD and he can't focus on one job at a time. Might not be finishing things because he didn't have all of the parts, didn't have a full kit verified. So he gets 2/3 of the way through a job and stops putting this part together just here because how many jobs have you seen this on? If you're a pipey, how many times have we set flanges up where the flow meter or whatever goes between the flanges, we have to put a booker rod between them because we don't have that part? How many times do we just pin a flange because there aren't enough studs in the stores at the moment yet? We're going to go back and rework that. We do this one flange or two flanges that we put together 3 or 4 times because we haven't got the full kit to be able to do the full job, to be able to just button it up, drop the proper gasket in, tighten it up. Once it's welded, walk away. We might be wasting his talent. He might have all sorts of smarts that we haven't even identified yet, and the reason that he's wandering around is because he's got the shits. Because he's given him some stupid job that he's way too talented to do, and his time could be better spent somewhere else. We keep worried about the boys, the people at the front, knocking off 5 minutes early, standing around for 10 minutes, wasting 48 minutes, or like Guy, he used to come in and, oh, I won't say that. He used to come in, my other superintendent actually threatened him a couple of times to stop coming in his office and whinging and asking. He'd come in, we'd be sitting there, he'd come in with his smoko, eating his yogurt. Hey Dave, yeah, Dave, but yeah. He goes, how come no one's moved that forklift out there for 10 minutes? Hainesy used to nearly lose his fucking mind. Anyway, he was very frustrated to work with. He didn't understand flow. This is critical to a project manager to understand this. I said before, an hour lost at the constraint is an hour lost to the whole system. So we need to be worried about how the whole system's working. How are the trades working in line together? Have we planned the work so that it just flows? The civils get in, the structure become behind, mechanical, piping and electrical. Are we doing that? Or are we doing bits and pieces just to try and keep everyone busy all the time and driving a heap of work that fits in this category down here, which is non-value added activity? A system that is always busy is a highly ineffective system. In fact, the statistic that they've come up with through theory of constraint is that a system, I don't know if it's just theory of constraint, that operates much more than 80% capacity starts to become ineffective because there's too much trying to go on there. What we need to be focused on, what are the blocks of time that we can get during the day? And I've got an actual day planner for this, if you want to have a look at it, which takes out when we should be planning, when we should be cleaning the site, how we should be setting up before smoke in the morning, how smoke at lunch is our key block to get work done, how we should do our afternoons, what should happen in the afternoons, how we should debrief at the end of the day to set the next day up. Want access to that, DM me daily sheet and I'll get you that. System that is always busy is ineffective. We want to be creating flow, keeping this in flow for blocks of time during the day at 80% capacity. Not worried about someone's over there and I'm knocked off 3 minutes early. That's not going to increase this dramatically. Yes, those things are important, having standards. I'm not saying let people stand around for no good reason. And there's actually something that we use called pockets of time, which is fits this stuff here. So when they've got nothing to do, instead of just getting them to go and overproduce, double hand, rework, wait, waste the motion, context switching, not finishing things and wasting their talent, we take that and give them something that is going to help drive the project towards a better result, removing 10% of the waste that we've got there. System's always busy is ineffective. All right, so how do we tackle this? How do we get people to see where this waste is, this non-value added activity is, get them focused on, I don't just want them to learn to see waste, which we'll talk to in a second, but I want them to learn to see flow, like we've got in this corner down here. I want them to be able to see both. This is a simple process that a guy called Paul Akers created called 2-second lean, and he did it because he just wanted to get his people to improve. He knew if he could get them to improve, that eventually would compound and drive an exponential result. Incremental actions, exponential result, which he did. His people, on industry average, are 9 times more effective than the rest of the industry that he works. He's in manufacturing, okay? It's a little bit blurry today. Don't understand why. Might be better there now. So his guys are 9 times more effective, but he's been doing it for years. He's really, really good at it. We probably don't have time on a construction project to get to that level unless we're doing this industry-wide for a number of years. That's what high performance is, performing at a high level continuously, year on year on year on year. We can do this, but we can get this. We can double. Easy. Probably do a second one by focusing on incremental improvements. First up, we teach people to see waste. Where are we doing this, guys? Where are we doing this? Where can we stop doing this? We teach them to see waste and we teach them to see flow. The way we teach them to see flow is how are we going to stack all the trades? What's got to happen to get your area from start to finish? All the different trades that need to interact in there. How many of these people in here need to be involved to get us through that process from start to finish? So they're not always running from the paddock going, hey, have you got a drawing? Can you email old mate in Perth about that? Because I don't have the information that I need at the moment. Learn to see waste, and we teach them how to see flow. When something goes wrong, or we've got one of these things here, we can have a little card. I use a Trello board. Would be a quick and easy, simple way to do this. We could do it on a platform called Slack. Little workflow we could build in there. Do what fighter pilots do as soon as they finish a mission or something goes wrong, they do a debrief. So what was the objective of this mission? The objective was to put those 2 300-pound 600 normal bore flanges in that line over there. Okay, so what was the result? The result was we've got it tacked up, but we don't have any stub bolts. It's just pinned. There's 3 bolts in there and there's no gasket. So what caused that? Well, no one got a proper work pack or the correct revision drawing and verified full kit that we had all the stuff in the stores. So we just went and started that job because we had a couple of guys who were standing around the thumb up the arse and we needed to get a job for them to do. So what are the actions? Actions are, we need to start planning our work. We need to get a tack plan in place so we can see that when the pipe is going to start something. We need to get a list that flows from the engineers to the stores. Someone needs to, maybe we need to pull a couple of those pipe fitters off the tools and we'll use those guys to pack all of our gear up and ready to go, and it will give us flow. I did this years ago on a job. One of the first jobs that I got pulled off the tools, I'd actually been really crook. I'd had Ross River fever. And the supervisor that I was working for at the time was, he was a very smart guy, John Brady, Pommy lad. He was really good at piping. Because I was crook, he's going, oh, how am I going to best use this guy? He goes, hey, Beanie, first of all, it was just like, we'll get you to set the stores up. So I set all the stores up, stacked all the bolts, everything out right. And then the engineers cottoned on that I sort of knew what I was doing. So they taught me how to use the 3D model. So I was taking these snapshots and making these visual pictures up for how the piping went in. Then they got me to start, I was basically doing full kit was what I was doing. So I'd go up the yard and I'd flag up all the pipe spools that were required for an ISO. So I'd have the fronter running, you go and get those pipes down there. I had another guy in the stores, you pack all those bolts up, get all those bolts there, and I would go and do the 3D model myself, make screenshots up, and I used to laminate them and put them up on the job. So we'd run it in, the pipe fitters would fit it all up, they'd fit up what needed to get cut, fit, weld, then we'd run it up and the riggers would start installing. We did 2 trains that were exactly the same. This is up in Gladstone. They used to be called Camelco Aluminum Refinery, I forget what it's called now. The two digestion units. The first one took us near 9 months to build it. The second one, when we had all this stuff in place and we had John working with us and then we had me feeding all this sort of stuff in, went from 9 months down to 6 weeks. Now it wasn't just because of that, but man, it had a big impact on how it just flowed. Something's wrong, we stop and we fix it. Then we make a before and after video, or we take a before and after photo if people aren't comfortable doing the videos, because what that does is give us a little record of here's the lessons learned. We need to put that somewhere. So we put that in this platform called School. When I said before that you need to learn to use social video, School you can live stream from within it. So you could be doing a weekly project catalyst update or a daily one, or you could run pre-starts from it. You could, when you needed to do a reset, or we had a specific learning, a specific orca, we went, that was really good, I want to get everyone involved in that tomorrow. You could broadcast that from your laptop or whatever, and people could just watch it at pre-start on their phone. Join in live. Ask questions, interact, all the rest of it. So you don't need to be on YouTube, you don't need to be on Facebook, you don't need to be on LinkedIn, you don't need to be on any social platforms at all. Actually, the added benefit of that is that you can then know that everyone on your team is going to see it, because you're not relying on an algorithm to get that information in front of them. You just go send everyone an update going, hey, check the School that page out. We've got an orca that we just did on how to bolt flanges up. Shows everyone exactly what needs to be done, how the flange management needs to be done. We had an issue, we've sorted it out, we've got the fix in there. This is the standard that we expect going forward, and you could have a little video there, people could go and watch it and do it. Called Yokoten, the Japanese call that, which is sharing information laterally across the organisation. The only way that you create what Patrick Lencioni talked about, everyone heading in the same direction, is to get that information to everyone, the same information. So this is a loop, it's like a flywheel, okay? So we've learned to stop and fix it before and after, shared it, we hit the top. People learn to see waste better every time they go around this loop. They learn to create flow better every time they go around this loop. So every time they do a loop around here, it gets stronger and stronger, it spins up quicker and quicker. All right, well, this works. We don't have to make any huge groundbreaking changes. Small incremental actions that'll drive 10x results. It's simple. Dr. Eli Goldratt told us in one of his videos on theory of constraint, you want to change an organisation holistically, what you do must be simple, or it will never take. It has to be simple for people to be able to get hold of it and use it and do it every day. There's a great process, funnily enough, called GREAT. Good mate of mine, Tom Hughes, come up with. And that is, when you create a process, you need to get to the Gemba, where the work's done, create the process. It needs to be easily recognised, which is what this is here. And by the way, I created this process at the Gemba. Paul created 2-second lean at the Gemba, where the work gets done. Easily recognised. We can put that up on a poster on the wall. This is what we should all be following. Easy to do. Anyone can do that. Anyone can stop and fix someone, capture some info on it and upload it to School. Super simple to do. If you can get on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, any of these platforms, you're going to use an app at all. Actually, if you can use your phone to call someone or use WhatsApp, you can do this. Anyone can do this. It eliminates the 8th waste. 8 waste and lean. The 8th waste is wasted talent. eliminates that. People can, instead of just go and get busy, go and do orcas, go and do some lessons learned for us, go and create some improvement videos, how we could be doing this better. Find something to improve. Don't worry about being busy, improve something. Remove some of this bullshit here so that this moves from 10 to 11 to 12 to 13 till we get up to 30, 40%. We're somewhere down here pumping 2 to 3 times the workout that we were before. No one's working any harder. We're just working smarter with less waste. We're doing less stupid stuff. It gives people autonomy, a purpose, and lets them master the process. All right. The Project Catalyst is, and go and watch any good team perform, and you watch what the coach is doing. He's standing there watching what's going on. The old project manager, I'm not calling him that anymore, he's a project catalyst, needs to act like the coach. Watching, seeing where we can be improving, doing this, establishing values and culture, debriefing with people, helping them improve the process. Want to work with, you can take this and use it yourself, or if you want to work with me, I've got 2 programs inside Construction School. That's school.com, SKOOL.com/scrum, SCRUM. Or just message me the words Construction School if you want to get in there. So I run 2 programs in there. One is called, it's going to be called the Catalyst Academy, which is, it's like $197 US a month. It's for, well, anyone can do it. It's for PMs that want to level up and learn this stuff. How to do this stuff instead of being stuck behind a computer, doing emails and updating spreadsheets. Custom built for what you need to learn. It's not a come and do count, cookie cutter, paint by numbers setup. It's like, let's find out what you need to work on first and work on it as we fix it. All right, that one, and then there's one for execs, which is the VIP. The VIP option, just message me if you want to know more about that. That's more one-on-one. The Catalyst Academy is big group. The VIP one is smaller group, but you're paying a lot more for it. And there's individual one-on-one catch-ups. Depends what you really need, what your project needs. My 2 roles within that is the number 1, be a wingman. So your wingman's got your back. They help you create the alignment that you need to get this happening through your team. A lot of people aren't going to be particularly good at the social video yet. They're going to need some help, some coaching on how to get through that, how to do it the best. I didn't start out like this. It took me a while to get here. You're probably thinking you could still keep going, Beanie. And I will. I'll keep improving it every single day. And I'll help you avoid the traps, because there are a lot of traps. Places where you can get stuck with this. It's simple as it is. It takes time for it to take, and you need someone that's been there, done it before, to say to you, just trust the process. Keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. It will compound. You will take off. Other job is to be the catalyst, which is remove roadblocks, the resistance to all of this. And you might not even try and roll this out across your whole site to start with. You might take a little group to the side and do it. That's fine. It's probably actually the best way to do it. And mitigate the resistance to change. If that sounds like you, particularly if you want to get cracking and have your team ready to go for 2026, have this rolled out, ready to crack on with before 2026, reach out, tell me a little bit about what interests you, whether it's the Catalyst program, the VIP program. Even if you just want to catch up for a chat, I'll send you to my booking site. We go, you book a 15-minute chat, catch up, just see if we might be a good fit to work together or not. Anyway, take it, use it, make a great week. I'm just going to play a real quick clip for you to close this out, which tells you all about the 2026 pre-season training program. Speak soon. You don't want to start 2026 like this. I'm starting a new pilot program called 2026 Pre-Season Training. It's for leaders who want to get their team match fit before the whistle blows and the 2026 season kicks off. So if you're running a good company or a team and you want to hit 2026 in a sprint, this is your window right now to set it up. We'll custom build your 12-month plan and drop it into a Trello board so that you actually track it and use it. We'll resource it properly so the work actually gets done and set you up a school community so that you're ready to get rhythm from day one. We'll be setting it all up using Goldrat's project rules of flow to mitigate the 12 causes of project failure, because that's exactly what this is and how you need to treat it as a project. And you'll also be learning to leverage AI where it counts to get the most impact. This isn't some paint by numbers cookie cutter course. It's pre-season training custom built for your business. There's only 10 spots and we'll have it wrapped up so that you're ready to run before we hit Christmas. DM me the words 2026 pre-season training and I'll send you all the details, because you really don't want to start 2026 like this.